Individualistic Freedom. The main player who uses this is Shido, and when he's on the field, the game becomes about him. The dude plays with so much freedom and instinct that it's borderline offensive to the rest of the team. Shido may not fit the idea of a team player, but he's willing to use a created system if it benefits him, like when he teamed up with both Charles and Sai Itoshi because they helped him score goals. His desire to play football is a biological need that fulfills him. Shido's only ambition is to leave his genetic stamp on the globe, and playing with other elite players make him happy. And because of his ego type, he becomes bored when others can't make him explode or don't explode themselves. But what makes this ego so strong is that you act according to instinct and can awaken flow easier. Restricted players like Kaiser or Rin, they require extreme conditions. Shido doesn't have this weakness. It's just do what I want, when I want, and everyone else can figure it out later. Like, remember when Isagi analyzed Shido's goal in chapter 253? He realized something terrifying. There was no strategy behind his goal. Shido and his teammate didn't plan anything. They didn't even practice that move. And the only way to stop that kind of unpredictable freedom is to bring in someone who can physically limit it. That's why Noel Noah was forced to sub on Kunigami to keep Shido in check for the rest of the match and 25 bloody chapters. Remember that even Ego said Shido was borderline impossible to manage, not because he's useless, but because he's just too unpredictable. But here's the twist, people. Isagi doesn't need brute force to contain chaos. He decoded the unpredictable, and then he turns it into a weapon for himself. Because unlike every other Blue Lock player, Isagi is the demon king with the strongest ego in the system. Isagi evolves after figuring out the individualistic freedom Shido displayed, so he uses this ego for himself. This happens when he begins linking with Kurana. Every pass, movement, and decision is part of his blueprint. This isn't Isagi reacting to play, it's his Demon King charisma deciding the flow of the match, manipulating the game to crown himself and dethrone Kaiser. And speaking of which, his rivalry against Kaiser is where it becomes undeniable. He outmaneuvers Kaiser and establishes himself as the new centerpiece of the team. He uses Kurana as an extension of his will, just like Shido, Bachira, or Bada would do. My guy even created a triple three-way chemical reaction and devoured the entire PXG team. So Isagi can turn raw freedom into something calculated and repeatable, unlike Nagi, which is why Ego said his salary at 24th place is deserved. But did you know Isagi even admits this in chapter 257, which foreshadowed his Demon King power, as he stated what ego type he had to use to score a goal. However, what happens when Isagi's opponents restrict his movement? Well, my MC only gets better at football. That's what makes the ego type called holistic restrictive so crazy. These players thrive when the game is not in their favor. They evolve under pressure and get stronger because the game gets harder. Their genius lies in analyzing a game filled with restrictions and finding the optimal solution. Players like Kaiser use this perfectly. For example, in chapter 181, when 5 defenders trap Kaiser, he doesn't break. He awakens Predator Eye and threads the perfect impact through them from 40 meters out. He created this weapon as a way to surpass and destroy others that restrict him. Like, bro, that goal was so insane, it didn't just shut the field up, it opened Isagi's eyes to the true potential of Metavision. But here's what separates Isagi from Kaiser. He doesn't just perform under pressure, it builds him. Every every time the enemy tries to box him in, when Rin shuts him off and his options, when Kaiser and his own team with his lapdog Nest suffocating his space, making it harder for him to score, that's when Isagi actually got even stronger, because out of that pressure, he created one of the most iconic weapons, the two-gun volley. Just pure instinct and innovation born from desperation. Isagi's two-gun volley goal was proof that the more you try to cage Isagi, the more unstoppable he becomes, by unlocking his top performance using the restrictive ego type. Even Hiyori states that Isagi's play was only something he could pull off, but then our MC admits he didn't even plan on scoring that way. It was instinct to copy Nagi's juggling shot, showcasing to us that Isagi alters his ego when required. Now, to enjoy more peak Blue Lock content, watch this video on your screen where I explain the goals in the manga that actually occurred in real life.